Hello everyone, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Sincerely hoping everybody is doing amazingly well today. Today we are doing a timeless reading, but it's kind of a specific reading. It's something that I came up with a couple of days ago and wanted to do for you guys with all the energy that's going on and moving and transmuting and all of that. So I thought we would do an alchemy reading today. What are you transcending? Again, very specific, so hopefully we'll be getting you, even though these are general messages, we're getting you some specific information. So again, these are timeless messages. Whenever you click on them, they should apply to you. And we have 3 piles as always. And for those of you who have been following me for a little while, you know that this is a magic candle. And for those of you who are brand new, by the way, welcome, welcome. And welcome, obviously, to everybody who is returning. This is a magic candle with magic oil, so we can use this for any way that you want. For healing, activation, support, anything that you want to release or pull in abundance and manifestation. It's totally up to you, of course, how you use it, but that's to give you a little extra vroom to this reading. And as usual, we have 3 piles. First pile is this pretty little bow. The second pile has the Om symbol, and then the third pile has a little in here, make your own magic. There you go. So as always, take as much time as you need. We're going to take it in a really large deep breath here. Hold for a second and release everything that will not serve you, especially as you tune into your own aura, your own energy for this reading. The more aligned you are with your own intuition, the more these readings make sense to you. So if you need to go ahead and pause the video, timestamps are below. Do whatever you need to do to come back to you, and we'll be waiting for you afterwards. Just press play and off we go. So let's get right into this alchemy reading for you. We're going to move aside the Om symbol, obviously very carefully, and move aside pile 3 too. So if you chose pile 1, you chose this pretty little bow. This is your alchemy reading here. What are you transcending? So let's see what we have. We have these cards here. What are you transcending? So we have perfection, and that is reversed. The lower chakra there, the base chakra, and then you have rejection. Okay, so and then what we're going to do is I'm also going to pick one of these cards here. And we also have a myriad of different cards, including tarot coming in too, to give us more illumination. This card speaking to us here. Manifestation. Okay, that is absolutely beautiful. All right, so pile 1. What can we say about what are you transcending? So there are a few things that are going on. I feel as though this has been a theme, particularly for 2021, about getting back into your own power, and understanding that everything is from within. We create our own reality. As we say this a lot, especially in the spiritual community, but really coming into the crux of what that means and living that out actively every day in your life are sort of 2 different things. And this is the level that you're moving into. So what are you transcending? You're transcending the need not necessarily to be perfect. That is something that you've transcended quite a long time ago, one way or another, because you found it exhausting to even try. But for you specifically, the perfection pertains to how other people see you. You're transcending the need to please others. You're transcending the need to change yourself and morph yourself into something that's unrealistic just to either quote unquote fit in or to please somebody else. You're also understanding at a very dramatic level, and this is not a small thing, It actually really does change your life, which you do know, and you're coming into this knowledge now that other people's reactions to you, they can certainly show us something. We can step back from what's going on and how people react to us and use that as a gauge. Okay, how can I sort of interact with this? How people are treating me? What's going on? What can I get from this? You can extract information from it. And from there, you can sort of shift in an alchemy sense outcomes in the future. However, for the most part, the way in which people react to you has nothing to do with you. It isn't personal. It's even when people, if you're on the road and there's some road rage, usually it isn't because you've accidentally cut somebody off. There's something else going on. Particularly in the last year, there's a lot of things that are coming to the surface, and people are doing their very, very best. Their very, very best to process all this information that's coming up to the surface. But it's coming out so thick and fast that people are using filters to get through them. They're doing whatever they can. Now, this will level out, and, we will figure this out. It'll all be figured out one way or another. That's just the way it is. But you're also learning that it's not up to you to figure it all out. It's not up to you to save the world. What you're doing is you're taking that energy that you put in the external and putting it back to you and grounding it into your first chakra here, which is not a small thing for you. And you're really understanding that when people react to you, yes, sometimes there is some, like we said, you can come back and figure things out, and maybe there's a lesson for you to learn in that, not to correct somebody else's behavior. But sometimes it really is just about the other person letting off steam. Sometimes it just really is about the other person reacting to their environment, and you're getting it, or you've triggered somebody or whatever. It actually isn't about you. Now, instinctively, you may have seen this, and this could have been quite difficult for you too, because for some of you, you may have realized that people's reactions to you were not personal, were not about you at all. And that made you feel more isolated, actually. So what you're trying to do here is, in a sense, not in a sense, we're all trying to do it, but what you're actively trying to do, what you're actively doing, and you are succeeding in, what you've been trying at, is getting that connection to the earth, to people, and doing it on your own terms, without having to give up any aspect of yourself. There was a part of you that believed that if you gave up certain aspects of yourself, or dumbed things down, or dumbed certain aspects of yourself down, then your reward would be connection, one way or another. And to a certain extent, that may have been sort of, true. Now you're realizing that the connection that you want, that you've gotten through those various modes, is not what you want, and it's not enough. And you're actually saying, this is not enough, I want more. This is not enough, I want more. And you're actually having the courage to do that, and that's wonderful. And of course, the universe is swooping in and meeting you halfway. So a lot of what you're transcending is old energy. That tells you that your energy does not need to be put first. Now, there's a confusion with you too, because you do understand that you're here to be of service. And you do understand that even with everything that you want to achieve, and it's not a small amount, Palwan, and you will achieve it, even though there is a lot that's seemingly for you that you want to achieve, at your heart, at your root, it's all to be of service. You have a very beautiful soul, and it's all coming for the universe, for the earth, for humanity to come back together again. So that is absolutely incredible, of course, but there may have been some mishaps there about how that works with service. We have all these opposing sort of thought systems, especially within religion and even society, gender, all sorts of things that, things are crumbling now, but you're seeing them within yourself, particularly in types of religion. We see that service has to come at a price. No money, giving up everything that you own, sacrificing yourself. It's just, that's the way that religion has, certain religions, and it's been the crux of certain religions, and at the basis of certain religions, and certain parts of society too, how we're taught not to put ourselves first. And this is, not to get conspiracy theory here or anything like that, but, this has been, part and parcel of the way the world has worked for hundreds of years, if not thousands. And if we're constantly thinking about other people, then we're not constantly thinking about ourselves. We're not constantly working on ourselves to be the best person that we can be and to really concentrate and highlight our own personal power. Then we really never reach the heights that we could do, and we're much more easily controlled. Now, this is something that's been breaking down. Now, this is something that you've realized you've had in your DNA. You've grown up with this. You've witnessed it. At certain points in your life, you may have felt lost because you were not connected to the kind of energy that would pull you out of it and wondered if you would be able to be pulled out of it. It's been kind of an isolated, slightly lonely existence. However, you've been studying all of this, and for you, you've been watching the timing element of this. And for you, you've still been manifesting along the way, and you've been working through this and understanding how this works from the inside out. So now, when you put your energy first and you say, no, I'm first and it's not selfish, I'm going to do the work that I need to do. I'm not going to filter anything that I've been through any other source. I'm not going to do this through a victim mentality. I'm not going to say that I don't have any power. I'm not giving my power away anymore. And I'm not changing myself to dumb myself down in to get a semblance of what connection is, which is more than I had before, but it's not enough. You're actually standing in your power and say, this is not enough. This is not the life that I want to live, and I can change it. And that's the most important thing. The manifestation card is for you to realize that you are a co-creator with the universe. You are the universe. You are a co-creator with the universe. There's no big puppet on a string controlling your life. There really isn't. There isn't, nothing is controlling your life. Rich people aren't controlling your life. No one's controlling your life. You're doing this. You can change it. There's a collective mentality out there. You either align with it or you don't. And you can stand in your own power and say, no, I'm going to do this myself. I am a sovereign being. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. No one controls my life. No one controls my destiny. I do. I'm going to take my power back. And this is something that you're doing. Now, this is something that you've been leading up to and something that you've been working on for many, many years, 10 plus years, one way or another, with varying different results. But because you've tried everything, tried testament and true all the way through, when you put your foot down, pile one, it's because you are absolutely ready and nothing's going to stop you. It's because you've been working all these years to get your ducks in a row, because you let every single situation push you to that edge. And now you realize that there is no going back. So this is a very, very powerful time for you. Let's go ahead and get you some tarot in here. This is an extremely powerful time for you to manifest as you realize that you are going to align with your own energy. Now, this is not aligning necessarily with your ego. This is quite the opposite. When people are aligning through a filter, people are controlling me, this is happening, that's happening, I'm not going to do this, it's part, and it's us against them. That's the ego talking. They might have been transcended in some way or another, but that's the ego talking. This is something that you've gone through. This is something that you've broken down within yourself and figured out for yourself. Again, sovereign being, whatever you choose in this lifetime will be okay for you. You will be protected. Make the choices that are right for you. And that is the way that it can be for you, and that is the way that will bring you true liberation and true beauty. Now, with everything going on, that may seem as though, you're the only one doing this, but you're really not. You're really, really not. There's a lot of stuff out there right now where, people are blaming this and doing that, and this is wrong, and separatists, and if you don't do it this way, you don't get it. And there's a lot of looking down on people, and there's a lot of all sorts of things going on right now, especially in the spiritual community. And that's fine. Let them do whatever they need to do. That is their path. They have chosen it. That is a sovereign being. They are giving away their power, but that's fine. That's part of their process. And we have no idea how that process is going to end up, because that is their own personal choice and they get to choose. So there's no judgment. But for you, you've done that. you've done that where you've given away your power, your sovereign power constantly, by either, real talk, a little bit of the victim mentality, which I think at the beginning with things that are going on, there are real things, horrible things that happen in this world. I think getting through the victim mentality, you have to claim the victim mentality first. That's just a personal point of view. So I have no problems with that. But staying in that, of course, gives away your power. But we have to be sensitive to people who have been through things. We can't, just buck up, everything's going to be okay. No, not at all. And that's not what we're saying. And you've been through this, and you know that this is the time to claim your sovereignty. And you're not going to do it outside of yourself anymore. This is a very, very powerful time for you. And this is a time where people are giving away their power. They are giving away their sovereignty. And again, that's totally fine. It might work out for them. It probably will, because that's the way that they need to do things. And everybody has to have a different path. Not everybody needs to do things the same way. Not everybody has to fall into line. What we consider falling into line, right? Everybody has their own way, and we all hope that we'll get there at the humanitarian level at the end. We must trust, and at the very least give everybody a wide berth to do whatever they want to do, because it's really not our business what people do, and it's just, judgment is just ridiculous at this stage. So let's see what we have here. You have the Ace of Wands, absolutely. And you have Judgment, which is beautiful. So here's the thing with you, which is absolutely gorgeous. You have that passionate Ace of Wands coming in. You absolutely know all intricacies of yourself now, which is absolutely huge. Know thyself. Socrates, I believe, said it. This is what you've been doing. And you've also been seeing yourself, how you work in the world, how you've lent your energy out, how your energy's been taken, how you've given your power away. This you've studied just as much as you've studied aspects of yourself and then reintegrated them. So when you trust the universe, when you move forward in the way that you are moving forward, you can see the way in which everybody is working, and without judgment you can step back and really have a great understanding of what's going on. You are an oracle of sorts, you are a mystic of sorts, and you do understand how this power works. And again, this is not a small thing, and this is bringing back your energy onto yourself and being completely responsible for it is the most liberating thing that we can do. And really understanding and breaking down how people give their energy away, how people give their power away, and why they do it. And also, you've made friends with fear. Now, this is something that's been going on for you one way or another. You understand the Mercury retrograde is really kicking in here. Intricacies, thank you. Fourth time's a charm, apparently. Intricacies of fear and how it works and how extremely powerful it is. Now, when everybody is going off and doing this, that, and the other, one reason why we can't blame anybody for doing whatever it is that they're doing right now, and if people are giving away their power, is because fear is very strong. And we've had a very traumatic year and a half, and all that trauma has come to the top, and this is traumatic for people, and people are reacting to the trauma. And fear is very palpable, and it keeps us pinned, it keeps us narrow, and it keeps us in this fighting mode. And it keeps us. As I always say, fear is its own keeper. Once you've clicked into fear, that's it. It's going to keep you there. You can't fight it. You can transcend it, and you can make friends with it, but you can't fight it because it loves the fight. It's going to give you another reason to fight. It's going to give you another reason to fight. So you can certainly transcend it, and you can alchemize it, and you can transform it, but you can't fight it. And it always makes me laugh when people say, we're going to fight evil, we're going to fight demons. You can't fight that. You can neutralize them, you can release them. There's a lot of things that you can do with that. It doesn't mean that evil doesn't exist and that we have to completely let it into our lives. But, you can see it for what it is. You don't have to be necessarily afraid of it if you're aware of it and how it works. And if you break it down, you're not afraid of it. You're also not influenced by it. And that's exactly what you've done. That's exactly what you've done. And it's been really, really tough work. And honestly, it's been a thankless tasked work because nobody knows that you've been doing this. You've been doing this very much on your own. You keep everything close to your chest when it comes to this. But the other side of this is pure unadulterated freedom in this lifetime. And this is not, again, sorry, got so excited I moved the table. This is not a small thing. This is something in time that you will be able to teach people how to do. Just by being you, you will be able to teach people how to do this. So let's get a few more. I'm feeling these ones. So your connection to yourself, your connection to your environment, to your inner environment, and then your immediate external environment, your friends, your family, and then the universe, which is sort of the micro macro, has shifted and changed. You're not under that influence anymore of the external. Now, while you're going through this and you're solidifying this for yourself, feel free to stay away from social media, whatever you need to do, because let's be clear, you are very susceptible, you are very open, you are very empathic, you are very, very sensitive. This is when you felt every mode of doing this. This is why this has been a tough road for you. It's been a very difficult road, and it takes an immense amount of courage to do what you've been doing, an immense amount of courage. It's not that people don't have the courage. It's just that the way in which you see things, the way in which you break down, using that ultra sensitivity that you have, you see every nuance in absolutely everything. Now, this could have driven you nuts at certain times, and you may have seen it as a weakness. But it was almost like you were put into this position, and you had to do it. You had to see it to the end. You see and sense and feel absolutely everything. You are the right kind of person, the right soul to be able to break this all down and see it for what it is. I know a lot of people are going on about transcendence and moving into 5D, and I think people have misunderstood what that is. You will understand how that works. We're supposed to have a human experience. We can bring aspects of the 5D down to the 3D, but when you transform and you actually transcend, you'll die. We'll all transcend one day. It's not like, you're suddenly enlightened and then you sit on top of a bonsai tree for the rest of your life. This is what you're bringing in is practical, brilliant experience of what this needs to look like, this transcending process, how it looks, how messy it is too, being really honest about what courage it takes to pull that energy back and say, I'm not giving away my energy anymore. I'm not saying anything's against me. I'm not saying anybody's controlling me. I'm not saying any of this. I'm not doing any of this. My new earth stands for me. My new earth is about humanity. My new earth is about taking responsibility for my own beauty, my own pleasure, and my own personality. And I know that I can change my life. I can do it. I can do it. I'm not being controlled. I can do it. So this is an enormous moment for you. Outdoors, Archangel Jovial, go outside, get some fresh air and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. So the way in which you connect with nature will be different too. And beloved one, Archangel Chamiel, beautiful archangel here. I mean, they all are. I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. You are ready to move on to the next level of existence. And again, I feel weird about saying next level of existence, but you are definitely ready to move on. You're ready to just reach out and pull in what it is that you want. Now, you've been casting these seeds, these beautiful spell instincts your whole life one way or another. You're very gifted in that, in visualization. You really do understand your power. Once you pull it back in, you know how to manifest. You can visualize what you want and it comes to you. Now, mostly we say, when you visualize, whatever you ask for, whenever it comes back, it probably looks very different, and that's a good thing. For you, when you visualize, you get exactly what you want, and you've done that before. So it's important for you when you visualize to remain open, because the thing is, that you can visualize and you can manifest, and then you go, oh damn, I don't want that. I can't believe I asked for that. Oh, now I got to spend 6 months digging myself out of this new job that I asked for. And I was like, oh, I didn't ask for this when I really wanted this. So for you, it's really important now that you've stepped in this new way of being, to really open up what it is that you want. Be very specific. Now, specific insofar as what it is that you're looking for. So you might want to go in and figure out if what you've asked for, what you have asked for before, really reflects what it is that you really want, versus what you think you can get. So if you don't know exactly what you want, that's fine. You can leave it open. You just imagine yourself and visualize yourself being the person acting out, being in the life of the person that you already are. Just being that person, and then everything will fall into place. Just what does it feel like to have whatever it is that you think that you want, and step into that role. Of course, we know that there's multiple planes of existence going on, and there is a plane of existence where you're living out a life already, doing exactly what it is that you want. All you need to do is align with that energy and pull it into what you are, and you skip that timeline and go in. Now you're able to do this because you can see when you're out of the victim mentality, you're able to skip timelines really quickly. That's the thing about fear. It keeps you locked into place. It keeps you exactly where you are, and it keeps you into the us versus them sort of rising up kind of energy, or fighting energy. We're going to fight this. I've heard a lot of people in the spiritual community recently say, this is a war. I haven't seen anything like this since Second World War. And it's like, that's the inner talking. That's exactly what's going on in that person's psyche. There's something that's being torn apart. And it's, if that's what you see, that's not to say that you dumb your head down and say, oh, everything's fine and dandy and everything's brilliant. No, we're very aware that there's control systems out there. We're very aware of it. 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years. We're all very aware of it. Every single one of us knows one way or another that, for the most part, but you've been aware of this. This is what you know. But there's ways to rise up. If you rise up outside of the system and become truly yourself, you neutralize all of that. If you're fighting that system, you become part of that system, and it never leaves you alone. You can't rise up against it. You have to let it go. So this is what you're doing. So let's see. I want to choose one more tarot here for you. Let's do this one. Let's put this on camera. So this is a very exciting time for you. This is a time where you get to, I don't know if construct is the right word, but we're going to use it. Construct your own universe. So we're going to leave you with one question, pile one. We've got the 5 of Cups here. And that's your question. What is it you truly want? Because it's all available to you now. What is it that you truly want? Now, we know that you're going to be of service. Whatever you choose will be of service. We already know that. We know that you're going to use your ultimate and your beautiful capabilities with your ultra sensitivity, and your emotionality and your alchemist, shifting all the way. Those lower densities to the higher densities. But what is it you truly, truly, truly want? You could have anything in the world. What is it that you would ask for? So I'm going to leave you with that question. Let's do one more here. We're going to get some fairy energy onto this. Because you can manifest in a single light form, exactly as you want it. You really can. That's not to say that your life is going to look exactly how you imagined. No. But you can visualize with such effect that it really does come into fruition. So, and we're not going to say be careful what you wish for, because everything that you've wished for, you've learned something from. It's been part of the larger plan, as it were. These two are speaking to me. Here, peaceful and stewardship, absolutely. Now, we said that you were going to be doing that. So this is a peaceful way. This is a non-chaotic way for you to step into your own reality and create at whim. Now, you've done things in the past where You've acted out of even violence, one where there's so much violence around you. You've acted out of drama. You've acted out of, had to get out of one stepping stone, moving out of a situation. You've run, you've done whatever you've needed to do. There's been a survival mode there. And you've done this admirably and beautifully. You've worked with considerable strength in situations that other people would not have been able to get through. But this is a new way for you from the first chakra, feeling that peace, knowing that everything's going to be okay, because you just know that you can change it, you can shift it. We're not going to say, oh, everything's going to be unicorn farts and, rainbows for the rest of your life. No, not at all. But you will be able to cope with everything that comes your way, and you will be able to cope with it with grace and beauty. And this is what you have now, grace and beauty in your life. You already know that you've got the backbone of the stewardship. So again, what is it that you truly want? And sit and really sit with it, Pile 1. Now that you've transcended and you're ready to move into this new part of your life, start with a bang. What is it that you really want? And really, don't dumb it down. If it's crazy and it's huge, make it crazier. Make it huger. What is it that you want? So we're going to leave you with that, Pile 1. We hope this resonated and gave you a little bit of support here. I'm going to list a couple of extra, readings that we've done recently that might be able to give you some extra support if you haven't checked in with them already. So I'm going to leave those down below. We are sending you so much incredible support and love, exactly where you are, for exactly who you are. We are very grateful for who you are in this moment. Do not change. Enjoy where you are. Enjoy that peace. You have earned it. And remember to celebrate how fantastic and sensitive and beautiful you are. We want to remind you, I've just been given this before we go, which is very important. For those of you who have doubted how much courage and strength you have, we want to remind you that your intense sensitivity is absolutely it's parallel directly to your courage. So you have more strength in a way because of your sensitivity, not less. So we want to commend you for everything that you've been through, because the courage that you've needed to get through it has been incredible. Please enjoy this peaceful time that you're coming into, and please enjoy everything that the universe and you will create, including new love coming in and new opportunities. You deserve this peace. You deserve this authenticity. You deserve this autonomy. You have been working really hard for it. Okay, Pile 1, until we meet again, you stay safe and sane now, okay? Bye-bye. Okay, beautiful Pile 2s, if you chose the Om symbol, this is your reading, and again, we are doing an alchemy reading. What are you transcending? As a reminder, we have the magic candles. You release anything you no longer need, or bring in some beautiful healing, abundance, manifestation, and also use it for healing and activation, any way that you want to use the candle too. So let's go ahead and move right into this. So we have self-worth and we have abundance. Wonderful. I'm going to choose one more card here to give us more information. Compassion, absolutely wonderful. Okay, so Pile 2, your transcendence is understanding your self-worth and also your abundance coming back into your power, your solar plexus chakra here, through your creativity. It's also believing very specifically that what you have to say, your voice in this world, the way in which you see things, your unique point of view, not only has a place in this world, but it absolutely is exactly what we need right now. This is something that you're coming into. Now, you're getting that compassion for yourself, and for other people too. So compassion for yourself has been quite difficult because you always feel as though in the past you're one step behind. Why didn't I get that quicker? You're the sort of person, Pile 2, you can be very hard on yourself. You have very, very high standards, and sometimes you hold other people to those high standards too. But even though you hold the external sometimes to high standards, you are much easier on people outside of yourself, people who are not you, much easier on them than you are of you. For instance, if there's something, some kind of victory, you'll be like, that's wonderful, I did that victory. You'll have a small sort of moment of celebration, and then you'll be like, all right, what do I need to move on now? That's not enough, we got to move forward. So it's always about tracking forward and moving forward. Now for you, that's not intrinsically right or wrong. That's a wonderful way to be. You're a go-getter, you're very passionate, you know what you want, and you're very active in that way. For some of you, it could have meant that a lot of your movement, a lot of your action, it's not that you don't take action, it's just that some of those actions haven't ended up where you thought they were going to be, or they ran out of steam, or you ran out of steam while you were there. And they've been quite disappointing. Sometimes they've been quite disappointing. And then you come back and you become a little bit sullen, and you're a little bit worried that you don't know what you're doing, and you feel a little bit lost. But actually, what you're doing now is you're taking components of all of the things that you think that were failures one way or another, which of course they were not. You were learning very valuable lessons, and you're going to put things together, an amalgam sense, and whatever you're going to offer the world, however you're going to present yourself, now that you come through to this other side, will be your unique autonomous self. And this is how you're going to help people also. So now there's something specific with a lot of you that's to do with the creativity too. A lot of you generating your creativity, bringing in different modes that don't always match or work together, seemingly so, and be able to do things sort of on a dime, I'm being told, like, not needing a lot of money, a lot of resources to do things, being able to pull things out of sort of nowhere. You're the sort of person that could go into a house and do it up, and with vintage furniture, and make things look pretty. For some of you, it's about making things look beautiful. And this is something that you've always wanted to do, but you've delved deep, 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 pile two, because you don't want everything to look beautiful anymore. You want everything to be beautiful. So you've done the work to figure out why you didn't see the world as beautiful, why you didn't see yourself as beautiful, and why you didn't fully accept yourself. But you're coming out of that, and you're realizing that the world needs the kind of beauty that you have. The world needs the kind of energy that you have. It is unique. It is slightly different. Now, we're all connected to each other, absolutely. And when, we say in spirituality, we're all the same. Of course, we do mean that. But we're not negating that everybody has a different blueprint. Everybody has a beautiful uniqueness to them. Everybody has free will. This is a free will zone. Everybody can go off and do whatever they want to do. And people start saying, I'm really frustrated. I can't believe they're acting like that. I can't believe they're doing that. Don't fret it. That's their own choice. They have every right to act the way that they want to. Even if we think it's disgusting, even if we think it's evil, they do have the right to do that. To act like that. Now, morality says that we shouldn't want to do that. We shouldn't want to do that. But unfortunately, people do evil things to each other. People do horrible things to each other. But there is still beauty in the world. So the question is for you that you've been asking yourself is, how do we still see beauty in the world? How do we see beauty in the world when we know that these people, these systems, these things exist? How do we see beauty in the world? Well, you take it back to yourself. You see beauty in yourself, and then you see yourself reflected in the beauty of the world. And you're more apt to being able to change the evil of the world if you're not actively fighting it, if you're not, if you accept it for what it is, but at the same time, you raise the frequency of the world and you do whatever you need to do to be you. There is a way that we can do that, exposing light, all of that, staying in the light, understanding the darkness too, which is something that you've done. We've got this dichotomy here between the light and the dark. Now, both of them are equally as important. We wouldn't be able to celebrate the light if there wasn't darkness in this world. And everybody says, I wish everybody would be nice to each other. And it sounds absolutely wonderful. But if everybody was exactly the same, it would be really, really boring. So this is a world, this is a system here on earth where we can really learn who we are in this real human form. And coming back to who you are and really understanding who you are, because of course when we're born into these meat suits, we forget who we are. We forget that we are God, we are of God, and that's not in an egotistical way. Some people have taken that a little bit too far. We are God. So let's just dumb it down, not dumb it down, but let's just be clear. We are the universe. We are of the universe. We are the universe. So coming into your sense of abundance here, knowing that you create your own abundance from your own understanding of who you are and what your self-worth is. This is not a small thing. This is a life changer for you. This is your absolute connection between you and the world, and connection between you and beauty, and being able to see beauty in everything, including darkness. Yes, being able to see beauty in the darkness. Absolutely. It doesn't mean to say that you don't want to do better, so we don't have that. That's not what we're saying. There's so much power that you have now with peaceful compassion that you have for yourself. Keep this up. This is not a small thing. This is not a passive transition or whatever it is that you're transcending here. Your moment of transcendent, whatever you're yeah, I don't know what's going on. I do. It's Mercury in retrograde, I swear. I was tripping over my words in pile 1 too. I hope this is clear. Wherever you are in this transcending mode is a very powerful time for you. So let's see what we have. Beautiful. 2 of Pentacles here and the Moon. Gorgeousness, absolutely. And this is what you've been working with too. The energy of the Moon you have been working with in the shadows. You have been understanding this. Some of you needed to come back from the shadows a little bit. You've been working in those sort of shadow spaces. Elementals are coming up too. Fairy energy for you is coming up. You could work with fairy realms if you don't already. You have elemental energy around you because you work in the in-between spaces. So this compassion, this work that you've done, you're now coming into the light. Now the twine spaces, the in-between spaces have been very illuminating for you. And they've been really wonderful, and they've given you such strength. And it's going to be a little bit strange for you now, coming into sort of this light-filled, thought it was a good idea at the beginning, this light-filled sense of space that you have here, because you've been coming in and out of the light, absolutely, but it's almost like you've been saving the light-filled space for the end, which is what you're coming into, but you've been working in these sort of luminal spaces, and you've been really understanding like corners of acceptance of yourself. You've been going and really working through certain aspects of yourself that have been not necessarily repressed for you. You've been working on yourself for such a long time. Very little is repressed with you anymore. But there were certain aspects of yourself that were hidden. And they weren't hidden because they were deemed uncomfortable, or what we say, with the shadow self. They were hidden because they were absolutely gorgeous, and you were afraid that you would shine too bright. So for you, it was a little bit of the opposite sense. You dumbed down the aspects of you that made you shine brighter. So those are the things you had to go back into the liminal spaces, and you had to retrieve and integrate. And that's why you have this huge compassion for yourself. That's not to say that there wasn't shadow work that needed to be done. There was. But very often, whatever we see down there also are parts of ourselves that are glorious that we hide. Because we feel as though it's not the right time. We need to protect them. It's not the right time. People will take our energy, or we won't be accepted if we shine too soon, too quickly. And this is what you're learning, that balance of showing who you are without remorse, without looking over your shoulder to see if the shoe will drop, to see if there'll be any kind of repercussions. Now, this does come in from a previous lifetime, several previous lifetimes, where your wisdom was definitely revered, certainly, but then it may have been shot down one way or another, or demonized in one way or another. And if you're resonating with this reading, you will know if this is truth or not. It'll sit with you. Yeah, I can feel, I already knew that. Most of you are very aware at this point of what you've been through in past lives, even if you can't specifically pin it down to this, that, and the other. You have an idea of what you went through, the emotionality of it, X, Y, and Z. It's not always necessary to know that you were Native American in a past life or this, that, and the other. Although if you think you were, that's one thing, that's fine. But it's what you are in this lifetime that really, really matters. But there are certain patterns that do come in, certainly with soul contracts and this, that, and the other. And why we don't need to know the specifics of it. So, you don't need to run out and go and get yourself a past life reading. It is important to see some of the things, the trail effects, I call them, that come in from one lifetime to another. And those you've been aware of, and those have been exposed for you. There's a deathly fear for some of you of being exposed. So somewhere along the line, in past lives, some people of importance not just dulled down who you were, but actually told people that you were evil, that you were wrong. It could have been the turn from pagan to Christianity. It could have been all sorts of things. But you weren't wrong. You had ancient knowledge. And this is something that, so you've dumbed down in this lifetime. But this is something that you've retrieved, accepted, and integrated. And that's what you've transcended from. So your alchemy now is to be able to use your magic and to be able to, for want of a better word, expose yourself for exactly as you are, leads you to this really beautiful sort of peaceful understanding, no longer needing to look over your shoulder, no longer needing to prove to anyone, knowing that, your uniqueness and your truth, your truism is needed in this world, and your wisdom is needed in this world, and be able to have that abundance for it too. Now, there might have been a fear for some of you, Paul, too, that if you used your wisdom to get money or to do something full-time, that it wouldn't work out, and there was something in past lives that it may have stopped you too. One of it could have been, firstly, it could have been the repercussions of actually really being out there and using your voice sort of in a splendid manner, being afraid that others would oppose it one way or another. This you were afraid of. But the other side of it, there could have been a real tangible kind of, if you're out there yourself and you're exposing yourself, that there could be real danger. And this again is past life stuff. Now you've integrated that, this is past life stuff, and this is carried on in this lifetime. There's a part of you that's wanted to dumb down the better features of who you are. It's almost like I keep being shown this, I used to do this as a kid, it's really funny. You have certain components on your plate when you're eating, and you save the best thing for last. Like, I don't eat this now, but if it was like chicken, mashed potatoes, and peas or whatever, eat the peas first. Peas are okay. You like the mashed potatoes, but you eat the chicken last. Because that's your favorite thing. It's like, that's how you've been doing. I mean, when I grew up, my cousin actually used to, steal my food and steal my chicken, and then I didn't get to eat it. And that's a whole different version of events. That's a whole different section there, whole different life, a whole different lesson that I needed to learn. But that's the perfect lesson here, whereby saving that best for last and realizing there's nothing to save it for. This is the time. It's always the time. So let's see what we have here for you. So this is going to be huge for you, because the way in which you're moving forward is really glorious. A lot of you want to make changes, if you haven't already, or infiltrate changes, increase opportunities in what you're doing, to make sure that whatever you do for a living is exactly what you want to do and fits in with the blueprint of why you're here. And it's not that you've not had ideas before. You're actually brilliant with ideas, but it's again, you've had this trailing off of things taking off and being relatively successful and this, that, and the other. And again, as we said before, to reiterate, you're bringing in everything together, something that's brand new, an amalgam of something that's brand new. Sometimes things that don't seemingly work together, but you'll be able to bring it together in this really beautiful way, melding sciences with this and that and that and that. We don't want to, everybody will be different. And this is something that you're able to do now with your 2 feet firmly planted in the ground, the foundation of knowing who you are. So when you choose your next path, choose it with the understanding that you will be very successful with this, and it will mirror some of the things that you've done before. It won't be exactly brand new, but there will be new energy behind it. So let's see what we have. Archangel Raziel, take your power back. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. That's exactly what you've been doing. That's exactly what you're doing. And I do believe Pal 1 got this too. So Archangel Chamiel is definitely around, beloved one, helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. Now, I'm feeling like some of you are already in a relationship and they're helping you with that relationship, and some of you are helping to bring in new relationships. But again, as you start with this, you know, it sounds a little chintzy new beginning. It really isn't a new beginning, and we don't want to say it's a new beginning, because for some of you, your souls are like shrinking backwards, going, oh no, I don't want to be put under that much pressure of a new beginning. It isn't. It's a simultaneous sort of very, very sort of movement forward, easy peasy, easing into the next stage of who you are, and who you always were, and the reclaiming of it. It's a very, very powerful but sort of peaceful moving in. It's not passive by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not this kind of thing, which is what you've done in the past. This is just, it's very like, very accepting, very beautiful energy. You have a lot of elemental energy and a lot of like unicorn energy around you too, actually. A lot of this sort of high energy, beautiful energy, reminding you with all the work that you've done in the liminal spaces that you have these little allies that are in and around you, and also a lot of transcendence energy around you with the unicorns too. Feel free to use them. There is I just remembered, it's on the playlist, so it's really easy. Always listen to your intuition if you think that anything else can help you. But there's Meet Your Unicorn and working through all the healing chakras. Not everybody does all the chakras all the way through. They choose which chakra they want to do. But if you haven't done the meditation, Meeting Your Unicorn meditation, the very first one, and then the sacral chakra meditation for the unicorns would be really great for you. Again, find it on the playlist in the Unicorn Light Tarot. If you feel it's something that you want to do, always listen to your intuition. Let's get you some fairy energy here. This one came out, Appreciation. That just flew out, but we want to get you one more. Finish off this beautiful reading. Keep up with that gorgeous compassion that you have for yourself. And do understand, that those goals, you will be reaching them. You will be doing them. Absolutely, mystic. But this one too, transition. So that makes sense. Transcending, transition, moving into the mystic side of self. This is very much an opportunistic reading too. Again, you're moving from one way to another in a physical way. Really setting up new business. Some of you might be going back to school, or something that you're investing in yourself and moving forward, doing what you truly love to do, or building on something that you already have, but taking it in a phenomenal sort of new direction. But this real clear understanding, this mystic compassion, an appreciation and celebration for how far you've come. For some of you who, and this is totally understandable because we're all human and we all do this, when you move forward and you start, these opportunities start coming in, please do your best not to judge them or to judge them on your past. In the past, things have not worked out. There's divine timing element. You would have been in that mode of, if one of these opportunities that you had before would have worked out, you still would have been doing it. In the past, it was very important for you to do many, many, many different things, so you can have many different experiences coming in. That was important for you. Now is the time, divine timing, for you to move forward in what you wanted to do. Your soul didn't want to be locked into one way of doing things before. That's another element of why things didn't take off necessarily the way that they wanted to. It wasn't the right time. It is now. So when you move forward, try not to compare yourself to what you've done before. It's very different energy. It's not going to be moving in that direction. It is absolutely brand new. So we hope we gave you some support, gave you some energy. As always, I'm going to link a couple of different videos down below, if you haven't checked out yet, that are fairly recent, that I think that you can get some more information, some more support from. I always do that in these new readings now. As always, listen to your intuition. If it tells you that you need a little extra support, you're being drawn to one reading, please feel free to check it out. And again, go into the unicorn meditations there, particularly meeting your unicorn and the sacral chakra and any other chakra that may appeal to you for that meditation. Again, if you feel called to. We are sending you so much support for exactly where you are and exactly who you are right now. You are perfect. Stay safe and sane, Pal 2. Thank you for sitting with us and being with us today. Until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, my beautiful pile threes, if you chose the Make Your Own Magic pile, then this is yours. As a reminder, we are doing an alchemy reading. What are you transcending? It is a timeless reading. And as always, we have the magic candle. Release anything you no longer want or bring in abundance and manifestation. You can do this by meditating into the candle. You can also use the candle for healing and activation, just a little extra rhythm to this reading. So let's get right into your reading. We will start with these two right now. So we have victim, and it is reversed here, and we have gratitude here. Now I'm choosing, as I have done with the other piles, this two to get a little bit more information, and then we'll get right into your reading. Ah, transformation, gorgeousness. Look at that, pile three. Absolutely love that. Okay, so specifically moving out of the victim mentality, which we did discuss in pile one, takes away your power and takes away the responsibility of working with your own energy. Now, moving into gratitude and, transforming from victimhood to gratitude, that's kind of obvious. Let's go a little bit deeper than that. So with the victim mentality, now there's something that I brought up in pile 1 too, and I want to be very, very clear. This is a supportive channel in Unicorn Light Tarot, and staying in the victim mentality, yeah, I mean, after a while, it keeps us really stuck. We're just not really able to get out of it. It keeps us in the same four walls. But horrible things happen in this universe. Horrible things happen on this earth. And we want you to understand that you have full support here if something happens. There are victims in this world. There are things that do happen. And, in order to transcend the label of victim, one must need to really come into the understanding, the ownership of victimhood too, because it's okay, it happened. And this idea that we're not saying get over it, oh shit, that happens to everybody, no, not at all. So the first thing we want to do is hold space for everything that you've been through, because some of it's been not been great, obviously. But also understanding this side of what's happened. Also, there was a deep understanding, or you thought there was a deep understanding, when you were being treated the way that you were, where you were a victim. There was something that really, really pained your heart. That's something that it sort of shut your heart down a little bit. And you are so sensitive and so beautiful. And at that time, as you were growing up, you may have hid your sensitivity. You were so sensitive you weren't able to hide most of it, but people certainly didn't know the extent of it. So when things happened to you, they happened to you at such a devastating degree. And again, everybody sees things differently. Everybody feels things differently. But the way in which you dealt with it is that you shut your heart down, and it was debilitating for you that people would treat each other like this, people would treat you like this would really happen in the world. It was devastating to you in a way that it wouldn't be devastating to somebody else per se. It would still be painful, but it wouldn't be devastating. So for you to be able to move and transform into gratitude is huge, because there are so many different things that needed to happen for this pile 3. First of all, you needed to go in and excavate all of those personal feelings that you had in and around being afraid of your own power, and also really honing in and accepting every part of your sensitivity. Now, you're incredibly sensitive. You see everything, and you did not see that as your superpower at all for much of your life. And because you felt things on such a deep level, you have these moments in your life where you've really literally kind of died and then were reborn. because of the level of how you feel. Okay. So when, I often say on this channel, people change so much when you look back on, particularly with everything that we've been through, right? It's almost like we've been put through a mining, coal, and we've come out because of the pressure. We've come out diamonds, at least some of us have, and some of us are working on it, and some of us may not, and that's fine. Who wants a world full of diamonds? We want some rubies, we want everything, right? So that's definitely been happening over the last year, but we can definitely say for you. So when we look back on other people's lives and we say, you were this person, you were reborn here, or you were a completely different person there, and you look back, you can see different stages of your life, and you can really understand how different you are than when you were like 16 or whatever, unless you're 16 now. But for you, it goes even deeper because you had moments of death and coming back to life. Like you had intense transformations coming from the dark to the light in ways that you've almost had 4 or 5 different lifetimes in this lifetime already, while being conscious and alive in this lifetime. And in order for you to do that, you had to delve so deep. You had to go right in there and work with the sensitivity, which again, most of you have thought of as a curse because you didn't know how to handle it. And unfortunately, with a lot of you, you were not blessed. You were not in and around a lot of people that had the same kind of sensitivity. And if they did, they dumbed it down. They didn't know how to help you. They were too busy in victim mode. They weren't able to help you. And then you were born into a society that tells you from day one, dumb that shit down, right? Dumb it down, dumb it down. It's a weakness. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see it. But that's directly how you make your magic. That's directly your strength. It absolutely is. So for you, you had to realize how strong you are. Now, actually, your courage and your strength is infinitely stronger than somebody else who isn't sensitive. It doesn't make you better or worse, but it's infinitely stronger because of what you go through. Whatever you go through in a day-to-day, because you see and feel everything. It's a little bit different to somebody who isn't as highly sensitive as you are. Now, everybody's sensitive to a certain degree, and everybody's waking up to that sensitivity, which is absolutely wonderful. But you were a highly sensitive person from the beginning. So there were nuances. There were things that you saw that other people didn't see. Sometimes you may have thought that you were crazy because nobody else saw them. You may have been exposed to, because you also have alchemy. This is an alchemy reading. So most of you, if not all of you, we are presuming, if you are listening to this, not only pile 3, but all the other piles, that you are alchemists. So you are alchemists from the very beginning. You understood energy, but you didn't understand how your energy worked necessarily because it ran too deep, and there were alarm bells with that. Because as you're a kid, when you're growing up, you want to fit in, because if you fit in, you're loved, right? So you may even have been treated differently from your family, because it's not that they didn't love you, not at all. It's just that they didn't know how to work with you. You were very different from a very small age for a lot of you. So you may have felt like an outsider, but an outsider that was sort of hopeless, because you were born with these gifts that were so overwhelming for you. You didn't know if in this lifetime, if you would ever be able to get through that. So for those of you who are thinking, I'm a little bit, a couple steps behind everybody else, you are working with something that's absolutely enormous. So, you are in this divine timing, and which you are now, things will take off. Divine timing. You will catch up with everyone. We absolutely promise you. There was more for you to figure out, and we want to remind you, you would not have been born into this lifetime. You volunteered to come down here. People don't get that. They don't get that. You volunteered to come down, and you get to cash in your chips and get out whenever you want. Absolutely no judgment. That's up to you. But you did ask to come down here at this time. And there was going to be a shift in consciousness. And you knew that you would be able to do this. You knew that you would be able to help the world. You knew that you would be able to help yourself. You knew that all the past lifetimes that you had, you were building strength to be able to do this work in this lifetime. But you knew it wasn't going to be easy. You're an extremely old soul. A lot of karmic stuff that you had to go through. A lot of soul contracts you needed to work through and burn through, I'm being told. burn through specifically. This was not going to be easy for you at the beginning. However, the payoff is coming for you now. That sounds ominous. We didn't mean it to sound like that. It's coming to you now. This transformation is not a small transformation. As we said in Paul 2, it's not a passive transformation, but it is a peaceful one. And this is something that you're not used to. When things happen, they happen suddenly, sometimes violently. Sometimes you're forced into having to figure stuff out. All right, I'm here now. This has happened. What do we do? And you're good at doing that. You think on your feet. This is a very, very smooth, beautiful transition. Yes, old stuff will be coming up. A little bit of fear will be coming up as you move into whatever, but you're willing to meet the universe halfway. You're willing to do this work now. You know deep down everything's going to be fine, and you know that there's just repercussions of the old coming in, but they're not staying. You know you're going to get through this. You know you've got this. You're going to do this even if you're afraid now. But as you move through this energy, as you get used to this new energy, this new way of being, and you really integrate this transformation, you know, the nervousness and the fear will dissipate. But at the beginning, do it afraid anyway. Do it afraid anyway. That's okay. The universe has your back. You're going to be fine. And that's a way that you can prove to yourself on a practical level how incredibly strong you are. We know you're strong. We can see it. Sometimes you need to prove things to yourself. You've even gone out of your way and experience-wise to prove things to yourself that you didn't necessarily need to prove, but you did feel as though you needed to, and the way in which you live your life is your own business, so you did need to do it. Sometimes you put yourself in very interesting situations just to prove to yourself that you could get through them. You don't need to do that anymore, but the things that you want initially, you know, stepping into that, I'm a little bit nervous, I'm a little bit fearful, but I'm going to do it. I know it's the right thing. You're not always going to do this, but if you're at that point where you're grateful to be here, but things are still a little bit nervous, things are still a bit new, that's still very exciting. Embrace where you are. The peace is coming. It's there. It's absolutely there. But your strength is just unbounded here. Unbounded. I mean, it's just, I mean, nothing's going to hold you back. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Let's see what we have here. Let's get you some tarot. We've got the Four of Swords. Absolutely, that goes with the victim. Oh, that's so interesting. So interesting. Pile 2 got this too, this card. There was another one with Pile 2 came in with Pile 1. We always say, you know, even though these are timeless readings, you know, we do read from universal energy. Of course, we read from the energy that's going on in the cosmos at the time. And all of them, you know, a lot of people are either contacting me personally or, you know, mentioning in the comments that, you know, sometimes people just listen to all the piles now. They might choose out a sequence, not necessarily 1, 2, and 3. But they read all the piles now, and I can see why, because there's a thread between all of them. Again, I want to express very different energies, so do feel free to keep choosing the piles. They are different energies, but I'm not surprised all of this is coming up. So yeah, the victim mentality, as we really pointed out in pile 1, we went into it a little bit. It keeps you, as I have always said, coined this expression, fear is its own keeper. It keeps you, keeps you, keeps you. But you're taking that sword back so you can come out of that and see there's a way out of it. And that's where the victim mentality kept you before. But again, you needed to embrace that mentality and really heal those wounds that came out of being treated that way too. So it's part of the embracing and then moving out of. But for you, the transformation means too, is this is new balance of being in the world the way that you want to, earning the living the way that you want to. You might want to go back and check out pile 2 if it resonates with you, if you feel as though that, you know, you might get a little extra vim from it. But also being grateful for who it is that you are, and being specifically grateful for your incredible gift. Now, you're a very powerful alchemist, and you wouldn't be this powerful if you were not this sensitive. And the world is shifting. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. So the traits that you have, that you've always had, are absolutely needed. They were always needed. But they will absolutely be, you know, arms wide open right now. And you didn't always get that. understanding. You didn't always get that opening from the world before. So you may have shifted your point of view before, that you're not wanted, or you're not accepted, or that people are against you, or people don't like you, or somebody always out to get you, or you won't be accepted, this, that, and the other. And that's part of how this came about. And it's totally understandable. But now you can integrate differently. And again, we're not saying that, unicorn farts and rainbows everywhere. We're not saying you can accept people unconditionally, accept where they are without judgment. Absolutely. This is a free will zone on earth. I see people being hard on each other, and it's like, people keep forgetting. Nobody needs to conform any way that you feel as though people need to conform. Everybody gets to do whatever they want to do. Everybody has free will here. So getting pissed at people because they're not choosing the same thing that you are is just putting up your blood pressure. This is a free will zone. However, and this is something you've had to learn, for most of you, you've learned this really well. You've kind of been put in the deep end of the swimming pool without knowing how to swim. But you've had to have those boundaries. You can say, I accept where you are. I accept what you believe. I don't accept it for me. I accept it for you. That's your path. Go be you. No judgment. But you don't have to take that energy in. You don't have to take that energy in. That's not for me. It's fearful. I don't want that energy. And you can send that energy back too. You can send it back. If somebody sends it to you, you can send it back. I've done that before. Some people think that's, aggressive. I don't. If somebody sends me, it doesn't happen very often, but if somebody sends me something really, I had an instance once on this channel, and somebody tried to hex me. And it's just, come on, somebody's working in witchcraft since they were like 7 years old. You don't hex her, do you know what I mean? But I didn't do anything about it. But what I did is I just sent the energy back to them. If you need to be responsible for your own energy. If somebody isn't responsible for their own energy, you have every way to send it back. Absolutely. You can block it too. You don't have to go after them. You don't have to do anything. That's a lot of energy. Very few people are worth that in my book. But you can send it back. The most important thing is that whatever you need to do to have your boundaries, you can do that. And still accept where everybody is. I accepted this person that was coming at me. I had no qualms with it. I kind of aligned with their energy, and there was something really dark going on there. And that's when I just said, all right, I'm just going to send you back that energy. You deal with it. It's very much up to you what you do, but the boundaries need to be there for you, pal 3. It really does, because you're that sensitive. Now, as you get used to this energy, and again, do it the way that you want to do it. Nobody can tell you what to do. Nobody can tell you how to do this. If you want to send the energy back, if you want to bring them in with love, whatever you want to do, it's got to work for you. But the only reason why I mentioned that of what happened to me is because I want you to know, because there's a lot of stuff with the spiritual community that drives me crazy. This toxic positivity, somebody really needs love, and and they're coming at you, and this, that, and the other. No, absolutely accept them where they are. Absolutely, you don't need to judge when they're already in pain, but you can send back the energy that they're sending you. That's not a horrible thing to do. That's just showing them where they are. You don't have to accept that energy. And sometimes, as alchemists, it's easy for us to take in that energy, and it's easy for us to transform it. But sometimes we don't want to, because we've got so many other things going on. We don't have to transform your fear and turning into something else. Sometimes we just want to put those boundaries down and give it back to you, because it's your energy and you need to deal with it. And I just want to be really clear that you get to do that too. That is absolutely something you can do that, in my understanding, is perfectly natural and perfectly fine, without treading into somebody's free will, or being mean to somebody, or going after somebody, or this, that, and the other. You're sending back the energy that they sent you. You're not sending extra energy. You're not doing that. So that's something that you can do too, instead of having to take in that energy and constantly alchemizing it. And that's what you've been doing also with all your sensitivity. You've been alchemizing. It's exhausting. So check in with your energy. If you get into these situations and you're like, I don't want to do this, send the energy back. Just do it. And that's the way that you can protect your energy. You can protect where they are. You can say, I know where you are. I can feel it. You've got my compassion, but that's it. I'm putting down my foot. You know, you got to do the work. People got to do the work. If they're not willing to do the work and they're projecting upon you, you don't need to take in that energy and transcend it for them. No, send it back. They got to do the work. That's it. They don't want to do it. That's up to them. Again, free will. So there's so many different ways for you to really step into your power here and alchemize when you want to, when you feel it's called for. And this is another way for you to really pronounce your power. And as you come into this power, you're going to be coming into this beautiful sort of balancing act of when to step forward, when to speak, when not to. You have this beautiful understanding of articulation. Sometimes you can say everything you need to say without speaking. Sometimes you need to speak up. You really have a sense of timing with your passion and who you are. So we just want to give you some options there. Now, what do we have? Okay, we have a couple of... But this is a very exciting time for you, and this is a very exciting time to explore your power. And again, you know, try and figure out, you know, what's right for you. This is where you start to figure out your own moral code. What do you stand for? What are you here for? Some people wouldn't send back somebody else's energy. They would see that as aggressive, okay? So if that's you, then don't do it. But we're asking you to really take in all of these limitless possibilities and figure out what is for you. Now, also, you be flexible about it. You know, every situation is different. You know, oh, I said I wouldn't do this last week, but I'm doing it. That's fine. That's fine. But we're asking you to sit and figure out what's your moral code. What do you stand for? How are you going to be in this world? Because you've hidden a lot of that. And as you step out, it would give you more confidence to really write it down if you want to. Really have a clear idea. And it's not an agenda. Far from it. It's just a really sort of culminating in what you stand for, your moral code, what you want. I'm going to protect the animals. I'm going to do this. This matters to me. This matters to me. You know? Write it down. Get clear about it. Chakra clearing. Archangel Metatron. Beautiful. Call upon to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometry shapes. So yeah, clearing out all of that old stuff. And again, as we said before, the way in which you alchemized before with other people's energy, you just might want to go in and just clear out some of that residual. None of it's yours, but clear out some of that residual stuff that you've been doing for other people. And again, say to yourself, if you need to keep doing this, you don't. Sometimes you want to alchemize. And last year, you know, a lot of light workers were sort of in the forefront there, alchemizing. We're in a different stage now. We're in a different timeline. It's not, don't need to keep doing that. So, you know, see your energy as precious because it is. You know, where do you want to use it? Also, if you are feeling exhausted a lot of the time, that is an indication also that you're taking on energy from the external and you're still alchemizing it. You don't no longer need to do that. Save that energy for yourself. Prosperity, love that too, with that balance coming in, which is already coming in for some of you, or is already here, already arrived with the Two of Pentacles here. Archangel Ariel, your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition to manifest your dreams into reality. Absolutely moving into, this is a general theme, especially with pile 2 and 3 now, probably pile 1, but doing what you want to do exactly, your life in every aspect, mirroring the blueprint of what you want to do, including what you do for a living. So for some of you on pile 3, you might want to look back and see how you feel about money. When you sit with the idea of money, okay, are you sitting there and thinking, oh, it's abundant, it comes naturally, it's fun, it's whimsical, I can help people out, I can make sure everybody's okay, I can give to great charities, I can help animals out, I can help children out, I can, you know, I help the homeless out, I can help addicted out, I can, you know, or are you sitting there going, I feel a little funny in my tummy. I think I like it. I feel as though it might be hard coming to me. You know, think about, just ask yourself that question. And your energy, you're so in line with your energy right now, I'll let you know immediately. Now, none of this, don't go down the rabbit hole of I've got to sort this out, I've got to do a course on money. No. That's not what we're saying. Everything's right there. All you need to do, work through the chakras, just clear them out. Clear them out and reassess how your introduction to money, coming back, make friends with money again, with who you are now. Absolutely, make friends with money again. It's abundant. It's in the universe. It comes easily to me. It comes easily to me doing what it is that I want to do. All I have to do is use my intuition and it comes to me. All my needs are provided for, absolutely. Everything I want is right there. I just have to reach for it. And I think I mentioned this in pile 2 also, but on the playlist, there is unicorn chakra meditations. The first one is meeting your unicorn, and it goes through, it's more than 7 chakras because we do the earth star chakra too, and the xoxo chakra, I believe. So you don't have to do all of them, and always listen to your intuition, only if it feels right. But yeah, if you feel as though that can help you move through chakras, for you, the heart chakra would be a great one to work with, and the base chakra, the causal chakra are the top 2, and at least meet your unicorn. But yeah, that's in the playlist in the Unicorn Light Tarot. So if you need a little extra help and support there, go ahead and do that, only if your intuition takes you there. But we promise you that this alignment brings in new opportunities, doing exactly what you want to do. And again, even if you're a little fearful as you start off, even if you're a little bit shaky, baby, as you start, that's okay. That's okay. Do it anyway, because that's a part of you, proving to yourself. Sometimes you still need to prove to yourself, but that's okay. That's you're coming out on the other side of that now. But sometimes you need to still prove to yourself that you're courageous. We already know that you are, and deep down you know too. But just go along with it for now. You're going to do it anyway, and you're going to come out of this with flying colors. So you don't need to worry about that. But don't wait to move forward doing things big when everything feels peaceful. Just at this moment, if you want to implement something big and it's still a little bit fearful and you're still a little bit scared, hey, you might be scared to death, but you know it's the right thing to do. Do it anyway. Don't wait. Don't wait right now until everything is like, that's once you get through that and you do that a couple of times, that's when the peace comes. As long as your intuition tells you you're on the right lines, you cannot go wrong. Do it afraid anyway, because when you come out on the other side of that, man, you are going to feel like $1,000,000, and then you're going to attract it. So we got some fairy energy here. Let's finish off this reading with a little fairy energy, and then we'll integrate you back into the world, whatever that means. So let's see what we have here for you. So you've got power, absolutely. Look at this beautiful gratitude and power coming in without a doubt, and charm. There is no doubt that you have charm. I mean, the way in which you've worked in the world. But you may have dumbed that down a little bit too. Because of your power, some people may have thought of you as quite deceitful. You really aren't. It's just that you were so powerful, and then having that charm too, people may have felt manipulated, but they were projecting upon you. You didn't want anything from them. Although for most of you, you could definitely charm, the knickers off of some people for sure. But you use this for the good. But coming into your power, staying with your gratitude, really understanding how far you've come, and using that charm and wit and beauty. People, will maybe have come to you at certain points saying, oh, I don't know how to do this. This person is, and I need this, that, and the other. And you've gone in, you've just charmed the person and you've done it. Or you need to get the right person in the right mood in order to say yes. It's not guaranteed, but you'll get the right person on the phone. You'll charm them before you know it. They've given it to you for free. You've got that. Now you're going to integrate that back into your transformation, back into your power. And, you'll be able to talk yourself into circles, and you've been able to do this as remnants of this personality that you've always had. You put yourself into circles that, most people had to have earned a little bit more before you get in there, but you charm your way in there. People like your forwardness. People understand, love that energy, but you may have pulled back from that a little bit in the past. But this is all accepting integrated parts of yourself coming in, so you'll be able to go full throttle. It's almost like just being shown that you've been in a car. It's a really beautiful car. It's not like a racing car or anything, but it's a really beautiful car. And for some of you it's silver, for some of you I keep seeing red and then black iconography on the car, and it can go really friggin' fast. And you booked the car because it can go fast. So you've always known that the car can go fast. You've spent some of your life in reverse, but the most you've ever been is third gear. Now you get to go in fourth gear. But you couldn't go into fourth gear until you learn how to work the other gears, you know, because if something happens, you'd have to go down the gears and you could get into an accident. That's the way it's being shown to me. Now you get to go full throttle, knowing that you've mastered the car. So this is a really exciting, beautiful time for you. And again, as we've said before, this is a powerful time. It's not a passive time, but it's not a time for you to necessarily go down into the woodwork and shadow work and pull back the layers of the onion. Everything's been done. Even if things just need to be activated a little bit more or just shaken up and released, a little meditation, just being aware of it, can move it through your energy. And again, just as a reminder, the most important takeaway from this really is how you use your energy. See your energy as precious, see it as a resource. You don't need to be out there constantly recycling other people's energy and moving it into something bigger and better. Let them do that now. Everybody's responsible for their own energy. Last year, we all came together. Now everybody's got to be responsible for their own energy. Everybody's their own guru. You know, just to be blunt, you know, pardon my French, get your shit together. If you can't, it's not up to you to save anybody anymore. Do that. Keep your energy intact and figure out where your energy is going to go. Place it a little bit better, and you'll just see that all your opportunities come a little bit further and a little bit quicker to you. And also remember, if you're feeling physically exhausted, you're taking on energy that you don't need to take on. So just go ahead, do a little meditation, do a little earthing, put your feet in the ground, let it go, send it back, or just block it. Just say it's not mine, walk away from it. It's all good, whatever you decide to do. Bring that extra energy back for you. All of that extra energy you've been expending to the world has been wonderful. Thank you for your service. Now use that energy for you. It's time for you to put yourself forward. So we are gonna, as I said with Pile 1 and Pile 2, I'm gonna put a couple of extra readings down below that I think that might help support this reading. Excuse me, if you feel as though, always listen to your intuition. If you feel as though it might help you, give you a little extra support, also check out Pile 1 or Pile 2 in this reading too. If you feel like it'll give you a little extra support, always listen to your intuition. And of course, head into the playlist if you want to for the unicorn meditations. Again, always listen to your feelings and your intuition. This is just extra stuff for you as a support should you feel as though you need it. We are sending you love and support exactly as you are, exactly where you are. We love you exactly as you are. We are sending you so much love. Really excited for you. Now you stay safe and sane, Pile 3. Go be you. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.